So the Dublin Senior Hurling Championship is back this weekend. We go into the knockout stages of the Dublin Senior Hurling Championship. We're into the quarterfinals, we're into the last day, and this is now where things get very interesting. And we've got four very, very interesting games. I mean, we've got Na Fianna, probably the dark horse, is probably a side that a lot of people are expecting maybe to potentially make the breakthrough and win their first ever Dublin Senior Hurling Championship in their history. They're taking on a St Jude's side that probably do have one of the best hurlers in the county in Danny Sutcliffe. But you've also got some other very interesting games. Ballyboden St Endas going up against Cuala, a repeat of last year's county final. Ballyboden St Endas actually the only the only club, I should say, other than Cuala to win the county championship since 2014, which certainly says a lot. You've also got Lucan Sarsfields going up against Crave Kieran, and you have also got a very intriguing battle between Oliver Plunkett's and Kilmacud Crokes. Of course, Kilmacud Crokes winning the county championship back in 2014, and they're looking to end a drought of their own. So we're here to preview the Dublin Senior Hurling Championship quarterfinals, so let's get straight into it.
I've been part of a team that's gone on to win 3 in a row. It's crazy really, and you kind of forget about it sometimes.
Like all the guys that I played with growing up through the years, like we're all still friends and everything, so it really is like it's a good family sense and a good community sense.
We had won in All-Ireland in 97, 99, 2000. It's more local at your club, you know everyone, you know the setup. It's different than joining a county panel.
It was nearly like a kind of statement to say, we're here, we're ready to play, no one's going to push us over this year.
This podcast is sponsored by Declan Kirby GAA Star. Declan Kirby GAA Star is a children's GAA book written by primary school teacher and GAA coach Michael Egan. Follow the trials and tribulations of Declan Kirby and his team at Smithgreen Gaelic Football Club. The book is a very good read for any parents who are looking to get their children involved in Gaelic games. The book is available in Easons, Lidl and all good bookshops. It's also available to download on Amazon, so make sure to go and check it out. They're very good supporters of the channel and the page, so you'd certainly be doing me a good favour as well if you went ahead and checked the book out. So I do very much appreciate it. The link is in the description down below, and let's get straight into it. What's the story, everyone? Welcome back to GAA Fan TV. I hope you're all keeping wonderfully well. It's another Club Talk episode, and today we're going to be previewing the Dublin Senior Hurling Championship quarterfinals. A very intriguing, very interesting quarterfinals ahead, and of course there will be a preview next week for the Dublin Senior Football Championship quarterfinals, so do stay tuned for that. And of course there will be more club videos coming out as well. I'm still hoping to get a breakthrough or a breakdown of the Mayo Senior Football Championship at some point, maybe the knockout stages or the final. I wouldn't know enough, unfortunately, about the Mayo Senior Football Championship other than the Intercounty Stars to really do an in-depth preview on that, as opposed to the Dublin Senior Hurling Championship and Football Championships that I've been watching very closely for a number of years now. And I suppose we'll get into the quarterfinals because, as I said in the intro, 4 very intriguing and very interesting games, and we'll start off with Na Fianna against St Jude's, and this is going to be a very intriguing game, and I would expect that maybe this game will be streamed on Dublin GAA's YouTube channel, hopefully, because I think this game is going to be very interesting and a very interesting watch, no doubt about it. We'll start off by discussing Na Fianna and 3 comfortable wins in the group. I mean, they comfortably dispatched Whitehall Comkill, comfortably dispatched Crave Kieran as well, and comfortably dispatched Ballantyre St John's. 3 wins from 3, very comfortable stuff from Na Fianna. They came in as the reigning league champions. They've had a number of underage success in the past couple of years, not just in hurling but also in football as well, and they're actually, funnily enough, probably dark horses to win the football championship as well, and probably one of my outside picks, but we will discuss that next week. Na Fianna, as I said before, Intercounty Stars, Donald Burke, Liam Rush, I mean, they have a lot of very, very talented hurlers, there's no doubt about it. Also, Sean Ryan and AJ Murphy, I think, have been 2 of their more impressive hurlers as well. AJ Murphy in particular looked very good when they did, of course, get that victory over Crave Kieran as well, and also Whitehall Comkill, a couple of goals in either game, very impressive stuff from him. And Owen Skelly, very well known to make a good couple of saves as well. He made a couple of saves in last year's championship, I remember, as well, and obviously this year as well. So, I mean, a big game for Na Fianna, no doubt about it, and as I said before, never won the county title in hurling. Obviously they've won a couple in football, not for a while now, and never even made the final, as a matter of fact. So a huge opportunity for them to get this win, to progress on into the semi-finals. I do think the Dublin Senior Hurling Championship in general for me is between Na Fianna, Kilmacud and either Cuala or Ballyboden, and obviously one of those sides is definitely going to be going out at the quarter-final stage. Ballyboden are obviously playing Cuala, and we'll get onto that in a moment. But this is going to be very interesting, very intrigued to see how it goes. And St Jude's, meanwhile, they were last in the final back in 2015, and obviously very reliant on Danny Sutcliffe, probably one of their best hurlers, no doubt about it, and probably one of the best hurlers in the county in Dublin. We very well know his success at inter-county level back in 2013 and how good of a hurler he was that year, and he's always been very brilliant for St Jude's as well. Probably the problem though for Jude's in the past couple of seasons or in the past couple of years is that they probably have been very over-reliant on him in particular. Now this year they do look a little bit different. Alan Connolly looks like a very good player, not just in hurling but in football as well. Looks like a very good dual player. The question will be, can they go and beat this Na Fianna side that are obviously on a bit of a roll? They won 3 games. Will Joseph McManus in there, for example, and obviously John Carty, a very experienced midfielder. Can they lead the line as well, and can they prove to be a big difference? So it's going to be an intriguing game, but I'm going to go with Na Fianna to win it by 6. You then have Lucan Sarsfields going up against Crave Curran in another very intriguing quarter-final matchup. Lucan Sarsfields, another club that haven't won the county championship, and that will be interesting to see how they get on. A huge opportunity for them to progress into the final 4. And I suppose, as we were saying with Danny Sutcliffe, and the fact that St Jude's probably have one of the best hurlers in the county, no doubt about it, probably Lucan Sarsfields have something similar in Chris Crummy. We know how good he can be. He's obviously playing at number 6. He's been very impressive as well, whether it's hitting those points from long range. His defensive work, of course, at centre-back has been absolutely brilliant. And obviously Paul Crummy at 15 as well, playing in that corner-forward position. Very tidy hurler, loves to run into the open space, creates a couple of chances for himself at different moments as well, and obviously has chipped in with 1 or 2 points and a couple of goals along the way this year as well. So I think Lucan Sarsfields are looking pretty good. Kieran Dowling, Peter Kelly have both looked very impressive, and John McCaffrey in the middle is certainly a man to watch out for. So plenty of experience in that side. And as for Crave Curran, I'll be perfectly honest, I don't really know too much about them, despite the fact that they're actually only up the road from me, actually, as a matter of fact. Obviously close rivals with Whitehall, and unfortunately Crave Curran were a side that got the victory against the depleted Whitehall side in the final group stage game of the Dublin Senior Hurling Championship, Group 2 or Group 3 I think it was. But nonetheless, Crave Curran with a 16-point victory over a Whitehall side. Like what I said before, didn't have Cormac Costello, no Owen O'Donnell, no Lee Gannon in there as well, but a very comprehensive win for Crave Curran, and you can't dismiss it. They've looked very good so far this year. Billy Ryan looks like a good corner forward, and they have been building over the past couple of years. They've been bringing through players, just making little tweaks in their side and whatnot. James Kelly's looks very impressive as well. So it's going to be an intriguing game, but I'm going to go with Lucan Sarsfields to win it by 2 points. I think they will have enough, in my opinion, to get through to the semi-finals. We've then got Kilmacud Crokes versus St Oliver Plunkets. I've no idea why I just clapped there, by the way, but I just felt like clapping for some reason. Kilmacud Crokes, what a side, what a team, what a club. Obviously, in not just hurling, but in football, they've been certainly one of the most dominant counties in Dublin over the past 20 years or so, but haven't won a county title since 2014. Cuala have obviously been one of the dominant forces, and they've taken over massively, obviously, in the past 6 or 7 years or so. And obviously they've been to 3 finals since that 2014 success, and that's been the big problem for Kilmacud. Despite having players like Ronan Hayes and Fergal Whiteley, he's a very experienced player. Alex Considine's very good as well in the forwards. Like, their forward line, they probably have one of the best forward lines in the county, like, no doubt about it. Like, as I said before, Oisin O'Rourke in there, Ronan Hayes, Oisin O'Rourke playing in behind sometimes in midfield, sometimes in the half forward line. And Lorcan McMullen as well, obviously coming back from injury, another top class hurler as well. So he's another player certainly to watch out for. But Oliver Plunkets, to be fair, they're another kind of like a bit of a dark horse in some ways. I wouldn't expect them to win this game, but they do have a lot of very good hurlers in there, like the likes of Cian Boland and Oisin Boland. I watched them in that game versus Fogs, create a lot of opportunities, and I suppose they didn't panic going down the home stretch. Like, Fogs had a 3-point lead going into the final 10 minutes, and obviously Cian Boland gets that goal. And that really changed the tide, changed the turn of the game. They had the momentum and they went on and won the game from there. So, you know, a lot of very good players. Ben McSweeney's obviously a good young player that's come through at the moment, and certainly one player to keep an eye on that could potentially maybe rise into the Dublin County side in the next couple of years. So he's an interesting player. I believe he plays with the under-20s going into 2021. So he's a player to watch out for. And Oliver Plunkett's always a team that can cause a shock or two, but I'd have to go with Kilmacud. I think they will have enough, and I think they'll win it by 5 points. And then we have the main event of the evening in a Bruce Buffer style voice. I mean, Ballyboden St Endas versus Cuala. If this was a fight card, this would be the main event. There's absolutely no doubt about it. I mean, two of the best hurling clubs in Dublin, no doubt about it. Ballyboden St Endas, probably the best dual club in Dublin when you look at their success at football level as well, obviously in the county. So I mean, what a huge game, and no doubt about it, probably the two best teams in the county. I mean, you could argue Nafina are a close third, and Kilmacud are kind of very close in there as well, but this will be a very intriguing game. And like, looking at the Cuala game obviously against St Bridget's last time out, I watched that game, it was streamed on Dublin GAA. I mean, Cuala looked dead and buried, they looked beaten, they looked down, and now, you know, they were, I think, 4 or 5 points down going into the final 4 or 5 minutes. They were a point down in injury time, actually, as a matter of fact. And a draw would have been enough for Cuala to actually seal their place into the semi or the quarterfinals, given obviously the sort of circumstances that group ended up. But Cuala, to be fair to them, you know, they rallied. They were absolutely brilliant. Con O'Callaghan chipped away with 3 points. David Tracy was very impressive as well. He ended up hitting the winning point, I believe, in that game. So, I mean, brilliant stuff from Cuala to turn the tide in a game where, you know, if they had lost that game, they would have been out of the championship, and their reign as champions, obviously, they've done the 2 in a row. I think they've won 5 of the last 6 county titles. They've obviously won a couple of All-Irelands in the past 5 or 6 years as well. So they have been one of the dominant forces, not just in Dublin, but in the whole club scene, so the whole hurling club scene. So the fact they were nearly beaten by St Bridget's, I mean, harsh on St Bridget's, who looked like a very good side as well, but it was obviously the group of death. You know, you had Kilmacud Crokes in there as well, for example. So it was interesting stuff, and Cuala in some ways are almost similar to Ballymun in football, in my opinion. When they don't have those inter-county stars, they don't have the same depth in their panel, and I think that's why sometimes you see Cuala get a little bit caught out in the early stages of the championship, in the group stages, and then they have to regroup and sort of move on from there. And we've seen it a little bit obviously this year. They lost to Kilmacud Crokes. They've obviously come back since then. They got a very convincing win over Thomas Davis, and then they obviously have gone out now and got that victory over St Bridget's. So very good team, no doubt about it. And Con O'Callaghan coming back in, Keane O'Callaghan as well coming back in, David Tracy as well. Obviously you've Sean Moran in there, who's been very reliable and has been a very consistent hurler for Cuala over the past couple of years, no doubt about that. So it's going to be interesting. And Ballyboden, to be fair, I mean, they'll be looking to avenge last year's disappointment. They were in the county final last year, beaten by Cuala, and they will be looking to avenge that defeat. Noel McMorrow has been a consistent hurler for them over the past couple of years, got a couple of goals in the games that I watched this year as well. Very top-class hurler playing in that full forward position. Conal Keeney, remember him? I mean, he's still playing. He's still doing the business, whether it's football or hurling. He's coming off the bench, making an impact. Clocked 4 or 5 points, I remember, on the first day out for Ballyboden St Endas, and he was a late change in that game. Wasn't supposed to start. Came into the team and was a late starter. So whether he's coming off the bench or starting, even at the age that he is, what is he now, 38, 39? He's still a player that can make a significant difference for this Ballyboden St Endas team. And obviously James Madden, a cornerback, very talented hurler as well, and he's certainly a player that will be an interesting matchup to see who picks up him and who's on him as well, or who he picks up. Whether it is maybe Con O'Callaghan, we'll have to wait and see. That would be an interesting one, but it's going to be interesting. I'm going to go with Cuala to win the game by 3 points, though, personally. I feel like that will be the turning point for them, in my opinion, to go and win the county title. I am going to say that Cuala, in my opinion, are going to go and win the county title. I wouldn't have predicted that before the Bridget's game, but the fact that they came back the way they did and turned the tide and were able to win that game by 3 points, and even with the fact that, you know, Con O'Callaghan didn't look fully up to speed, he was rested for the first 2 games, so the fact that they've brought them back, Keane O'Callaghan has obviously come back in as well. They're looking very, very good at this point, and they have the experience, they have that know-how of being in these positions before, and I think winning this game would be the springboard from there. I think Nafina have a lot of very good young hurlers in there, and potentially over the next couple of years they might be able to make the breakthrough, but I would still expect Cuala to see through them as well, and same for Kilmacud Crokes or anyone that Cuala come up against. So yeah, there's some Dublin Senior Hurling Championship predictions. We will have more club videos out soon. We're going to be doing more predictions of more championships, getting people on, having a bit of chat, having a bit of crack, all the rest. Not literally, but virtually. You get what I mean. But yeah, we'll go ahead and wrap this up here anyway. My name is Aaron. Leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you all in the next one.